if you've been in the online business space for a little more than a year now and you've made some money, but it's gotten to this point where you get a little bored, like there's resistance when you sit down and go to work, you almost feel like you're strapped to a chair. And when you try to reach for your keyboard, it's just tough. Now, of course, you're not actually, but mentally, if it feels like that, it's because of one thing that once I realized that that advice was being given to me and I was listening to it, it almost killed my entire business. Even after having the sales skills to be able to close over $150,000 in deals, partially from my own mindset coaching and service based company, as well as some other businesses that I partnered with. What that advice was is that you have to be really disciplined. Now, I'm not telling you not to be disciplined, like everybody's like lock in, and yeah, to a certain extent, you gotta be locked in. However, you just got to do what you want and also be able to be aware of that fact. Because if you quote unquote procrastinate, like earlier today, I was spending more time eating food because my sister wanted to go out to a Culver's nearby. Then I can't get like feel guilty or whatever that I needed to catch up on work, and because I didn't catch up on work, that sucks, and it'll keep you in this negative mental frame. Instead, just do whatever you want and then acknowledge the fact that you're doing that. Ask yourself, well, what do you want to achieve and what are you willing to sacrifice to achieve that thing? And if there's some times that you're not willing to sacrifice certain things, know that will stop you at least somewhat to getting to a goal that you have. So inside of your business, if you want to be able to get to from like maybe $5,000 or $10,000 to $100,000 a month in the next 6 or 12 or 24 months, understand that by doing things that aren't directly related to the growth and building systems of your business, then yeah, you will get there slower, but maybe that's fine because you chose to prioritize something else. Like another one of goals of mine is to gain more weight, get to like 180 pounds. Right now I'm about 150 in a couple, right? And do that, gain more strength, continue to do so. I've already been lifting for a couple of years now, as you can see, right? But with that being said, what you have to understand is if you continue to think you have to force yourself to do things, then all you're going to do is continuously create a disconnect between the action and what you identify with. But if you can build an execution system in a business as well as a mental frame of doing things based off of your values and aligning yourself with that, it's going to be way easier. For example, with one of my business partners that I recently partnered with, I was able to get him to 4 sales calls a day, when before he was only booking 5 sales calls last month. He made a couple grand. It wasn't too bad. However, now in this business that I partnered with, we already collected 1,400 in 4 days, and then we're on pace to do a lot more as I booked tons of calls. The reason for this is because I set up a business that works for him, set up the right automations and systems so that way he can focus on what mattered to him inside and outside of his business, aligning it with his values, getting clear on decision-making principles so that way he can execute in a way that felt aligned, not a way that felt like a golden cage. Like, yeah, sure, you're making some money, but if that money is actually the limitation of your freedom, then what's the point in going for it? Because if your whole goal was to gain that freedom in the first place through money, well, if you only have financial freedom, but you don't have the ability to use it when you want, and you continuously try to keep yourself in this mental rat race of having to do certain things because some guru online or a coach told you to do it, well, then at the end of the day, it's not going to really be that fulfilling, and you're probably going to quit. Not saying you will, but I've just seen tons of clients of mine in the past and other people I've talked to in this online business space after being in it for a couple of years. They just quit because they burn out. But in reality, burning out doesn't exist. What does exist is not feeling aligned to what you do for so long that you create such a big disconnect that eventually it snaps, and then your identity is no longer associated with that thing, and your perception slowly starts to conflate that into something you quote unquote hate. Now, it's not hating, it's just you have to change the way you perceive it. The way you change how you perceive it is through changing how you do things, through clarifying what you value. Because if you have certain values and certain things that you prioritize above anything else, then you have to build your calendar, your execution system, and your business based around that, not based off the same repeatable structure that some course seller tells you to use. And then once you can build that structure inside of your business, and practically what it looks like is, for example, for the business I recently partnered with, I implemented automations to automatically track calls and leads because he didn't really like the admin side of things. He felt like it was tedious, and he was more of a guy who liked the creative work, and it was fulfilling for him to deliver to his clients. So I created an automation that helped him make it that easier. The same thing with pre-qualifying people and following up with them. I'm doing that and eventually building systems and then hiring a team to do it for him. So that way he can focus on what matters, feeling more fulfilled in his business while still being able to grow in a way he wants. So understand, if you can figure out exactly what the values that you have are for yourself, then you're going to be able to translate that into the way that you run your business, therefore allowing you to live the lifestyle you want to live, be the person you want to be, and grow your business so that way you can achieve the vision you have. If you want to know more about how I actually go about doing that, click the top link in the description. It's completely for free. You can join a community that I created, going over how you can build a business and specifically your entire sales system to helping you sign clients that you actually want to work with and build a business that's aligned to you, not that is just the same structure that you see online. Because at the end of the day, business change and quote unquote the market changes, but if you can learn to not only love business but see different hidden gaps in it, you're not only going to be able to build a business that you love, but you're going to be able to stick with it and do way better than everybody else because you're able to develop your own systems, frameworks, and actually stay present in the experience.